In this video today, we're going to talk about year 2, month 6, leading up to a whole year treatment with Mavenclad. And I'm going to be sharing my experience with you today. I'll talk about the lymphocytes, I'll talk about my side effects and my perspective, and I look forward to your comments and your likes and your shares. You might be wondering, if you haven't watched any of these Mavenclad videos before, who the heck am I? Well, I'm Jenda Tracy. I've been living with MS for almost 13 years. I live with relapse remitting MS. I'm now in year 2, month 8, and finally have my blood work results. I also want to talk to you about some of the things that have been happening for me since this treatment happened. But before I do, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for those of you that have tuned into these videos. I created them for you, for people that are wondering whether Mavenclad is a good fit for you. Also for those of you that are on this journey that want to be validated. And you know, our experiences are all different when it comes to Mavenclad. They're not all the same. And where I've gone to is I've gone to the Mavenclad for MS Facebook page to get some of my answers along the way and to make the decisions that I've made. So I hope that this video supports you in that way. Hopefully you have other resources to support you. I am a patient. I'm a woman that lives with MS. I'm not a doctor. I'm giving you my opinion and my experience only. Let's dive in. So the big question that many of you have, and you probably heard me tear that paper off my leg, is that this is the number for my current lymphocyte blood work results. And that was the same, 0.08 was the same at 3 months. So what does that mean? Well, lymphocytes, the healthy range is from 1 to 4. And when I started Mavenclad this time around, I was at 1.6 and I dropped to half, which is pretty good, 0.8. The previous time in year 1, I started at 2.6, pardon me, in terms of lymphocytes, and dropped down to 0.6. You can see in the first year that I did it, was actually over 3 years ago now, I took a gap in between, was really knocking it down. So this time when I came in to this process, I was only at 1.6 instead of 2.6, and then dropped down to half, 1.8. Now, how did this impact me? In some ways, I thought I was disappointed because 0.8 didn't seem as low as I was hoping it would be. But the fact that I dropped so significantly in year 1, I think is something to really consider. What are some of the things that I experienced? Well, I think the biggest thing for me was around stomach issues, which I still have. Mavenclad can be pretty difficult, pretty tough. I wouldn't say difficult, pretty tough on your stomach. And that's why it's so important to eat food before you take it, whether you take it at night, like after your dinner, or at lunchtime or at breakfast. I chose breakfast, and most of the breakfasts I had were quite substantial, yet it still damaged my stomach a bit. Now, when I say damaged, maybe I'm being a little dramatic. I get that. So my homeopath that did a test on my whole body back at month 5. So before I took month 6 blood work, said that my stomach and many parts of my stomach were having some difficulties. And he suspected that that was the result of the medication of Mavenclad. So ever since I was a baby, I had stomach sensitivities. So it would make sense that at this age, my age now being 57, that my stomach, no matter how much I've taken care of it, would be knocked down a few notches from Mavenclad. And that probably was the case when I took Mavenclad back in 2019, but now it's 2023, and there's been a big gap. The Mavenclad has really, I think, had a greater impact negatively on my stomach. So I'd be curious what your issues are around that. I've had stomach aches that have arisen. Not that I never had stomach aches before, but I think that that has precipitated. I've also had more headaches, but again, that happened the last time I was on treatment. Fatigue, which I constantly live with. So it's an ongoing thing, day to day. managing those 12 spoons that we are given and have to parcel out in a different way than other people that don't live with a neurological condition. Definitely an increase in fatigue. Also, I am getting older, so menopause, Mavenclad, and just everyday garden variety fatigue. The reality is that has been difficult for me. Something I remember reading about on Facebook in the Mavenclad for MS group, one of the large groups, the main one, women in particular were feeling a lot more hungry after going through their treatments of Mavenclad, like year 1. So I've noticed, and I'm not sure if Mavenclad is playing a role in that, but I do feel a lot more hungry and my appetite has increased. So I'm being mindful about that and just noticing it as a factor. And then the big whammy, which I was hoping Mavenclad would actually wipe out for a while, which is kind of what happened last time that I took Mavenclad year 1, I had less vertigo. And that was very exciting for me. I had less massive symptoms of peaking and declining vertigo. And part of the reason that I went on Mavenclad year 2 was because I was noticing more vertigo symptoms. And after the first treatment, I don't recall noticing any vertigo. This year though, I've had about 3 rounds of vertigo that have impacted me greatly. So not as severe as it used to be in the early days and in my diagnosis with MS back in the 2nd or 3rd year. However, it has been annoying and a little disappointing for me that I have been dealing with vertigo more than I was prior to the first year that I was on Mavenclad. So, gotta wonder. So that's just going through these again, some more headaches, sinus issues tied in with that for me. I always have challenges with that, so hard to know if that's Mavenclad. The stomach issue, yes, very hard on my stomach aches, stomach pain, and impacting bowel movements, that kind of thing. Definitely an increase of fatigue, vertigo, and desire to eat. I love food. I have to say, I really love food. And even though I'm on a conscious diet to take care of myself, to reduce inflammation for MS, sometimes, you know, you just feel like eating. So that's really the wrap up for me on this. What I want to say is if you haven't watched any other Mavenclad videos and you're just starting out, go back to the playlist and start from the very beginning at year 1, right when I'm taking the first dose. And you will go through that whole process and you will hear my journey along the way and be able to walk alongside me. If you're not sure whether to take Mavenclad or not, I'm not here to tell you to take it or not. That's not why I do these videos. I have no association in any way with the pharmaceutical industry. I never have. If you want to hear about the other MS drugs that I've been on in the past to prevent MS, go back to my YouTube channel and you can check those out. And lastly, one of the reasons why I started doing these videos for women thriving with MS was for myself, number 1, to document it. Number 2, for you to get support and insights from a fellow person who lives with multiple sclerosis, even if we're totally in different places in our journey with it. And thirdly was that I wanted to give back. So I do have support through coaching. You can go to the Women Thriving with MS website if you're interested in getting support, not about medication, but just how to really step into your life. I say that metaphorically because not everybody can step any longer into their life physically. Some of you may not have that ability, but really to be able to live your life in a way where you can accept MS and live with it wholeheartedly. It doesn't mean you don't have frustrations, but it will happen. And in the comments below this video, you will also see that I have created some amazing courses that are all sliding scale. And there's 3 that I recommend that you check out. One is about the MS stress release process. One is about feeling understood while living with MS. And then I've got a 5-day course that you can do, of course, at your own pace. They're all online, which is really about philosophies of how you can take better care of yourself when living with MS. And so I invite you to check those out because they're such a great deal and it's something that you won't find in the marketplace. The reality is, and this is what I realized, is when I started creating content and support for women and people living with MS, was that there wasn't anything out there. And so sometimes when you're the first to do that kind of stuff in a major way, I'm not talking about people like Terry Wall. I'm talking about everyday people that live with MS like me. There's not a lot out there. So check it out because, you know, some of these things might help you, and that's why I'm doing this. Anyhow, I appreciate you. I hope that you benefit from this information. Go ahead and share with others. Write comments. You know that I respond to the comments that I get, and I appreciate you. So I'm Jen DeTracy, Women Thriving with MS, and I will see you soon. Bye now.